I would like to begin today's session with a question. And the question is very simple. The question is, what kind of spirit do you carry? What kind of spirit do you have in you? That's the simple question that I would like to ask. And if you are a believer, then you would like to answer that I have the Spirit of God in me. I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, and hence I have the Spirit of God in me. And that's a very good answer. No one can deny that, refute that answer. But I will not be satisfied with that particular answer. And because of that, I will have to repeat my question one more time. What kind of spirit do you have in you? What kind of spirit do you have in you? And when I ask you for the second time, then you may deliberate a little bit and come up with an answer that I am a man, I'm a human being, and I have a spirit of man in me. That very spirit that God gave Adam when he was formed from the dust. We can read Genesis chapter 2 verse 7, Genesis 2:7. There it's written, "Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostril the breath of life. And then man became a living being." So it is this breath of God that is the spirit in man. So God breathed into the nostril of man the breath of God, or the spirit of man. Now, incidentally, when God created all the creatures of the world, He never gave them the breath of life. The breath of life was only given to human being. When God created the big creatures, the small creatures, the insects, and whatever things we see around us, He never gave the breath of life into them. It's only to human being that He gave the breath of life, and that's nothing but the spirit of man that we all have today. And we all have this breath of life, this spirit in us. And that makes humans or man special, separated from others. Humans are separated from others. Why? Because they are more intelligent? Because they are more brainy? No. They are separated from other creatures, other creations, because they have this breath of life in them. The very breath of life that God gave to them. And that's our spirit. We have the spirit, a human spirit in us. We have this breath of life. Now, what are these spirits? Now, when I talk about the spirit, now spirit is an invisible thing. It's an invisible, intangible, non-material, ethereal entity in us. Now, this spirit that we have cannot be defined by the laws of science or philosophy, physics, chemistry, biology. Nothing will work to explain it. The spirit that man has cannot be explained by science, cannot be observed under the lens of microscope or telescope or X-ray or whatever it is. Because spirit belongs to another dimension, a third dimension or fourth dimension, whatever you want to tell. it does not belong to this dimension at all. It belongs to another dimension. And because of this fact that it belongs to another dimension, we can only understand spirit world through faith, through believing it. We can only believe the spirit. We cannot understand it just like we understand these material world. So someone who is very much rooted in the material world may not like to believe in spirits because they do not come under the purview of scientific knowledge or the laws of physics. So it's up to them, up to that person. If he wants to believe the spirit world, he may believe, and if he wants to ignore it, he can ignore it. That does not makes any difference. But if you want to understand the reality of the world in its completeness, then the spirit world cannot be ignored. The spirit world cannot be ignored. Suppose there is a believer, a Christian, who says that I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, I believe in everything related to church, I believe everything related to Christianity. But if he says that I don't believe in spirit in me, that he says that he believes in everything but not in the spirit of man, then he is not a Christian. Then he is not a believer. Because if a person thinks that he does not have a spirit in himself, then what does it mean? That the very sacrifice of Jesus is unnecessary, because he does not have a soul, so he does not need a salvation. And in order to be a believer, it's essential, it's must that you must believe in spirit world. You must believe in spirit. Otherwise, your belief is incomplete. So as a believer, as a Christian, as a believer, we believe in not only in God, in angels, and demons, but also we believe in spirit in us. We believe that we do have a spirit. Since after we believe in the spirit world, after we believe that man has a spirit, it's only believing is not sufficient. We must also have some basic understanding of how the spirit world operates and how the spirit world affect this material world, because the spirit world and the material world are separated, but they are also connected. There is a connection between these two worlds that we must understand. So I would like to draw your attention to the movies that we watch. We have watched movies many times. There are so many people there, actors are there. The drama is there, the story is there. We like the movie, we see the movie, we like it, and we go home. We appreciate all the actings and the stories therein. But after we have enjoyed the movies, after we have finished eating popcorns, we never bother to think that behind every movie there is a director, there is a producer, that the person who has directed the entire movie. We never see these people, these directors, these producers. They are behind the curtain, behind the scene. What we see is the actors. They do all sorts of activities. They speak and they do all this drama, and they do it because they've been directed. They've been directed by the director, and they follow the instruction of the director. but we only see the actor, but not see the invisible director. Similarly, this is the visible world in which we live. We see people, we see leaders, we see nations doing this and doing that. Someone has done this, someone has done that, but we never bother that behind this, what we see, what is visible, there is another invisible world. The invisible world is always influencing the visible world indirectly through persons, through actors that we see. We think that a certain action has been done by a particular person, and that's true, but behind that person there is this spiritual force that has exerted influence on that man's life, because of which he or she is acting in a certain way. Now, when it comes to movie, it's not just only directors. There are so many people involved behind the scene, behind the curtain. There are so many people behind the curtain. Like there are hairstylists, there are those who do some cosmetics, some makeup artists. There are film crew. There are these camera operator, camera operator. There are sound technicians, people who arrange lighting, people who give fashion designers, who give clothes, they're artists. There are makeup artists, cinematographers, and so many things. The people who bring even food and water and tea, coffee to this crew member. These people work behind. There are varieties of people are there working behind the movie. Now, it's also related to this world. We see this world, but behind this world, in the invisible world, there are spirits of many kinds and types. There are many kinds and types of spirit in this world. They do different works. Just like while making movies, there are many staffs working behind, given different work. Similarly, when it comes to this real world, the invisible world has different kinds of spirits in them, providing different kind of influences to this visible world, to the life of the people. Now, how do we understand this thing as a whole? Now, since the very ancient times, even in some primitive societies, the people have understood the presence of these spirits in their life, in their environment. Although invisible, but they have come to identify these spirits, and they have basically grouped these spirits into two parts or two groups. One is the good spirit and another is the bad spirits. They have classified spirits into good spirits and the bad spirit. Now, these spirits, these good spirits and bad spirit, has the varieties of influence in a person's life that differs from person to person, from time to time, from nation to nation, from place to place. And it is this dynamics of this influence of the spirit that forms a particular society, a particular nation. A nation rises and falls depending upon the influence of these spirits. So the spirit has an influence of various kind in man's life, and I would like to bring your focus in some of these spirits right now. A man is determined with the kind of spirits that he carries, and the spirit that he carries differs from person to person. And People even don't know that what kind of spirit that they have. They have lived their entire life, and they have died and they have gone, but they never bother to think about it. But they have certain spirits in them. So we as a believer must have some idea, some basic idea about these spirits. So let's talk about it. Some of the spirits. Have you met someone who talks a lot about others? They gossip a lot, extra. We like to talk with these people. We like to share our feelings. We like to talk about others, and they have this engaging personality that draws our attention. They have that magnetic attraction that we would like to go and talk with them. They are the gossip mongers. They gossip a lot. They have the spirit of gossip in them. There are people who they are greedy. They are greedy. They are extra greedy. Every man has a need, and need has to be fulfilled. But some people have greed in them, and when we go near to them, and after some time we realize that this man has desires beyond his need. He or she is greedy. So this particular person has the spirit of greed in him or her. Some people are engaged in adultery. They have just become expert in this thing. They have so many stories to tell, these spicy stories to tell, that you wonder aloud that how come they are able to achieve so much in their life. So they have the spirit of adultery in them, and because of the spirit in them, they are capable of doing those things that normally it's very hard and difficult for others, even disgusting for others to do, but they can do it. They have overcome their disgust, and they break their barriers and are involved on those things. Some people are just damn lazy. You just can't move them. They are just lazy. They have been lazy and always been lazy. They won't do anything. They have the spirit of laziness in them. Some are drowned in alcohol. They can't do without alcohol. And they have the spirit of alcohol in them. Some like to gamble it off. They just would like to gamble. They would just waste all their money in gambling. Gambling is their addiction. They have the spirit of gambling in them. Some like to eat too much, more than the body needs. Excess eating is called gluttony. They have the spirit of gluttony in them. Some like to travel very much. They are always traveling from one place to another. They can't stay in one place, no way. The food are itchy. They have the spirit of this traveling spirit in them. They have to travel. They can't stay in one place. They have to travel. The spirit in them makes them unstable. They can't stay in one place. They need to travel. They have the spirit of this traveling spirit in them. The spirit of tobacco is there. Spirit of pornography. Some like to quarrel very much, quarrel and fight. They're always fighting and quarreling with somebody. Wherever they go, they quarrel and they fight. They have the spirit of quarrel in them. The quarreling spirit is there in them. Some are stupid. And there are persons who just can't forget their ex-lover, the ex-boyfriend, the girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. They can't forget it, no matter how long it had been. Days have gone, years have gone, but they can't forget their ex-lover. They have the spirit of infatuation in them. Now, by this time, the impression that you are getting that all these spirits are bad, but that's not the fact. The spirit of the world that I'm talked about is only some of the bad spirit. There are many, many bad spirits in the world, but apart from these bad spirits, there are many good spirits that influence our life. There are many good spirits. Now, a very ordinary looking man has this attraction, this magnetic attraction, and when people are attracted to him, and he is lifted to be the leader, and he becomes a great leader. Like one Chinese leader, Mao Zedong. People would go mad for him. Just he was like God for them. Now, a very ordinary man, looking man, eating food just like we all eat, but people are attracted to him. He has that charisma, that attraction. Now the question is, what does this man has that people are mad for him? They are willing to die for him. That the people would listen to him. That he would build such a big nation. What's in this particular man, this leader? Now he has the spirit of leadership in him. So there are the presidents and prime ministers and leaders that have this extra attraction in them, their magnetic personality. This is nothing but the spirit of leadership that they have got in them. So this spirit is, we can call it to be as a good spirit. And there are other star people, some footballers, some singers. People are just, they have the huge fan base. People love them. People like them, love them. They like to see, they like their song. If they are a sports person, they like their sport. They too also have that magnetic attraction, that charm that people are mad after. What do they have? They have that the spirit of celebrity in themselves that attracts, that the spirit of entertainment with which they entertain people. This can also be turned out to be as a good spirit. So these are some of the big spirits that I've talked about, the very few people in the world that have these spirits, the spirit of leadership, the spirit of celebrity, the spirit of entertainment. There are other spirits are also there that can only be termed as good. Like some people are hard working. They just can't stay home doing nothing. They must work hard. So they have the spirit of hard work. They have this hard working spirit in them. You must have heard about the Chinese working so hard in their field and the work. They just would work any work. They are not shy of working with anything. They have the spirit of this hard-working spirit in them. And they are students that study hard, the scholars. They have gone so much deep into their field. They have read so many books. They have the spirit of study with which they can study. And there are persons that have done a good business. Initially they had nothing, they was penniless, but with their hard work they built their business and have become very rich later in their life. They can do good business. They understand money. They have the spirit of business in them. They can do this business because they have that particular spirit. There are some people, they can motivate others. There are persons who can show love and pity, and they can help others. These are some of good spirits that I've talked about. Some are peace. They're peace loving. They create peace. And some people are wise. They have the spirit of wisdom in them, and because of which they are wise and they take good decisions in their life. And some have this spirit, they have this nursing spirit, of which also which they can become good doctors and nurses, because the works of doctors and nurse, all people can't do it because it's a difficult job, but those with the nursing spirit can do it. Some have people and benevolence, and they are very good at charity work, so they have the spirit of charity in them. So these are some of the good spirits that is there in this world, and that can influence a person's life. Now, one thing, a caveat, one thing that you must understand as a believer, that a Christian worship one God, one God, and they do not worship these good spirits. There are religions in the world that would like to worship these good spirit, there are the God for the rain, God for prosperity, the God for wisdom, the God for good health, God to provide safety, and so many gods are there. And all gods have some function. Each and every god have, if you study each and every gods, have been attributed with some functions, and they worship these gods. But Christianity is a religion where we are strictly forbidden from worshiping these good spirits, this good God. They may do good work, but we do not worship these good work. But we do not worship their good work or their good deeds. We only worship Jehovah God. So that's what we know about the spirit world. But spirit world, now spirit world, when we think about, is just we think in terms of like shamans or pastors or casting out demons. But it's beyond that. The spirit exists all around us. It's just like air, that all around us we have air. Similarly, spirits exist all around us. It's present everywhere. It's not spirit is not present in a haunted house, in a haunted castle. No, spirit is present everywhere, all around us. We are under constant interacting with them. They influence our mind, our heart, and based on their influence, we take certain decisions in our life. So a personal decision becomes a family decision, and the family decision becomes the decision of the society, and the decision of the society becomes the decision of the nation. So a spirit may influence one person, one individual, but ultimately it trickles down, and it has this massive effect, nationwide massive effect. So the influence of spirit cannot be ignored. That has to be taken into consideration, and we must understand that. And only if we understand the dynamics of the spirit world, then only we will be able to understand that how this world is operating. There are nations in war, and it seems to be physical. The two nations are fighting. That's true, but behind that war, there is something going on in the invisible world also that we don't see. And we as a believer, we not only try to control the physical world, but we also try to influence and control the invisible world, because there is where the main director and players are there in the invisible world. And somehow, if we are able to control through our prayers the activities in the invisible world, then we will have peace and stability in the visible world. So understanding the invisible world is very important. Then only we will be able to deal with it. Now, as we deal with our personal life, we should try to inculcate good habits, because that will allow the flourishing of the good spirit. And as we remove the bad habits from our lives, then what happens is that we also are able to remove these bad spirits from our life, because it's not just about we doing some good things or avoiding bad things. We are also trying to avoid bad spirits, because when some bad spirits come into our life, then it is very hard to get rid of it, and it will always have an influence in our life, a negative influence in our life. So even if you desire to remove it, then it will not go, because many times you must have heard people that I am addicted to substance, but I want to I want to live it, I want to remove it from my life, but I can't do it. You must have heard that I can't remove it, although I want to remove it, but I can't remove it. Why? Because although his brain wants to remove it, but he has a spirit in him that does not allow him to do it. He can't do it because he has that bad spirit. So it's important that he removes his bad spirit, then only he can get rid of those bad habits that he has have. So we must understand that it's not just our brain and our habits, and it's not just our flesh, but behind our flesh, behind our mind, there is another mind, there is another spirit, there is another mind, there is a spirit that needs to be dealt with properly. Then only we will have proper cleanliness in our life, because from the very beginning, if you read Old Testament, God has been talking about holiness. Now, holiness is, what do you mean by cleanliness? Is not just bathing with soap and water and wearing clothes, clean clothes. No, that's not holiness. Holiness is about having a system, a spirit system which is clean. You should have a clean spirit system in you. That's holiness. And that's what God wants. God wants you to have a holy life in terms of clean spirit. Your spirit system, you have a body system where you have a mind, a body, and you have, the body has so many organs. You have health, you have blood pressure, you have sugar system, you have certain blood pressure in you, you have certain sugar level in you. Your body is working in a certain way. This all works in a balance. Similarly, you have a spirit system in you that has to be in a balance. If the balance works, if the balance get disbalanced, even a healthy man becomes unhealthy mentally. Physically, financially, he becomes unhealthy. So it is essential, it is important that we do have this balance in our life, because if we do not have this balance in our life, then we will never be normal or successful. Now what I've talked about is that it's not just what I said, but also Jesus has also spoken about it. Jesus himself has spoken about invisible spirit world. Invisible spirit world. He has spoken about spirit that sounds strange, that I would like to read to you, and you may also. Matthew chapter 12 verse 43 onwards. When an impure spirit, Jesus speaking here, when an impure spirit comes out of a person, he goes through arid places seeking rest and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the final condition of that person is worse than the first. This is how it will be with the wicked generation. So what Jesus is speaking about is purely related to the spirit world. It is related to spirit world, and it has a meaning, it has a purpose that we need to understand and ponder about. Thank you.